it's Dr. Wu, and it's time for the meditation class. This week, what I want to do is go over hallways of the mind again. Hallways of the mind, I'll tell you why it's important. Most of us, when we have thought forms, we go to a place, and usually the place isn't that positive. And then we start to think about what's not positive in that place that we went to. So it's like we're going inside. It's not that there's anything bad, because if we look in this room, it's good. If we're outside, it's good. Everything's good. But then we start going, woo, what if my car breaks down? What if the transmission drops out? What if the motor burns out? I'd have to get a new car. I don't have the money for a new car. And then we go into that space, and we keep going into a space. It's like visualization, but instead of positive visualization, it's negative visualization. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're reinforcing your visualization qualities, which is great. The only thing is you have to take it and put it right side up instead of upside down. So when you're doing the hallways of the mind, you're specifically going to a place that you create. So let's do it now. We'll go through the hallways of the body. Let your body relax. And you're going to imagine that you're going into an elevator. So you push the elevator button. You wait for a little bit. And the elevator door is open. You walk in the elevator. And then you push a button. This elevator only has two buttons. It's got an up and a down. So you're going to push up. And the elevator starts to move. And as the elevator moves, you start to relax your body more, because it's going to take a little bit for it to get to the top floor. Allowing your body to relax deeply, and you're sort of just enjoying the ride. In an elevator, you don't do too much. You sort of just sit there anyway, or stand there. And now the doors are opening, and when the doors open, you imagine you're in a long hallway. You can see it's long. It's maybe 50 or 60 feet long, and on each side there's doors. And I want you to start walking down that hallway. As you walk down that hallway, you'll see different doors, and the doors are all decorated, different colors and different bric-a-brac on the doors, and some will have like knockers, and some will have little signs on it. And what I'd like you to do is come up to a door that you feel comfortable with. A door, and you say, oh, that's an interesting door. And when you come up to that door, what I'd like you to do is turn the knob and walk into the room. Now that room may be plain, it may be dark, or it may be light. You look around the room. Look to the north, the south, the east, and the west. Look up at the ceiling and down at the floor. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to start making some changes in that room. This is your room, so you can make any changes you want. You could put in a window, you could change the flooring, you could change the ceiling, you could furnish it, you could put in an entertainment center, whatever you want. You can decorate that room, and you can have it instantaneously just by saying, I want this, and it'll be there. So take a moment now and start to redecorate your room. Now I'd like you to find a comfortable space in the room and go over and sit down. Let your body relax. And if there's anybody that you think should be in that room with you, like let's say it's a knowledge room, and you want a famous writer there, or maybe you want George Washington, or a music artist, or Albert Einstein, you'd like to have a discussion with him. You can manifest him and invite him into the room and have him come over, and you can start to ask him questions, whatever questions that are on your mind. You could even ask him or her for a gift. And if they give you a gift, I'd like you to take the gift and pull it right into your heart. And let that gift sort of hang out in your heart. Look around the room again. See if there's anything that you want to change. The lighting, the furniture, maybe a ceiling fan or a window, whatever makes you comfortable. Make it the right temperature. And see if there's anybody else that you want to invite in. Is there anything that you need to know, or any music you want to hear? Maybe a piano. Maybe you'd invite someone to come in and play the piano for you, or teach you how to play the piano. Whatever you want, this is your room. This is your room of knowledge, because you can invite people to come in. You can relax in the room. You can ask them to give you something. And when you get it, you just take it and pull it right into your heart, and you let it stay in the heart. So you're absorbing the knowledge or the wisdom, whatever you need. If there's any other changes in the room, I'd like you to make them now. Any of your past relatives that you need to make contact with, ancestors, you can make contact with them in that room. And if there's any questions you have, or if you want to tell them that you love them, or something on your mind that you never resolved, you can express yourself and resolve those things with those relatives or those ancestors. And when you're complete with your conversations and your communications with your ancestors, and you're complete with the people you invited that you asked for some type of knowledge, when you've completed all that, I'd like you to look around your room once more and see if there's anything special that you need in that room. It can be anything. Just install it in the room. Make sure you're very comfortable in the room and very secure. And when you're ready, I'd like you to go over to the door, open the door, and walk back into the hallway. Start to walk down the hallway near the elevator. When you get to the elevator, push the button. And when the door's open, walk in and push the button. It'll bring you down. And when the elevator gets back into this room, what I'd like you to do is open your eyes and come back into the room. So they call this the hallways of the mind, because what you start to do is you start to build something that's perfect for you. And you start to build a place that's safe for you. Let's say you want to do a meditation and you're agitated and you can't meditate. You know, I got too much on my mind and I'm nervous and my mind's not focused and I can't calm myself down. One of the things you can do is you can go over to the elevator, push the button, go up and go into your room. And in your room, you can do anything you want there. You can change it every time you go back. You don't have to change it, but you can. And you're going to make it just beautiful. You're going to make exactly your space. And you can invite people to come in anytime you want, and you can ask them for things. And when you go out of the room, because you have all those gifts inside, those gifts will slowly open up, and you'll start to get that knowledge, and that'll move through your body. So it's almost like a alchemical process to change things in your life. Because if you're life is cluttered and it's confusing and you're going, oh, this is so confusing. I need a quiet space, someplace where I could go that I could just rearrange it. And this is a place that you can go on the inside. Now, if you do it often enough, what will happen is you really get that room in a place that you're really comfortable there. And then that can move into your external life. Because if you want to create something in your life, first of all, it's created in your mind. Once you create it in your mind and you know exactly what you want, then you can create it. Like if I want a new car, I got to say, well, what do I want to get? Do I want to get a Cadillac? Do I want to get a Chevy? You know, we're not even talking about money now. We're just talking about what do I want? Do I want a Maserati? Do I want to, you know, what do I want? So most people know exactly what they don't want. And then they share that with you all the time. I don't want this, and I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want this. And they get a whole list of don't wants. Well, the way the mind works is whatever you think about the most is what you get. So there's a guy who wrote a book. His name is, the name of the book is The Path of Least Resistance. And it shows you the easiest way to start to bring what you want in your life. There's different domains. There's your work or your career. And then there's dual cultivation, your relationships. And then there's one for family. And then there's one for money, finances. There's one for spirit, you know, your religious practice or your spiritual practice. There's one for travel and influential people. There's one for projects, what projects you have, what projects you're doing, or your legacy, what you're going to leave. Then there's one for self-cultivation, knowledge, exercise, that type of thing. And then there's one for the final outcome. What would be success for you? So as you create and you fill in those little boxes, you create what you want in your life, and then that comes into your life.
What do you do when there's fear?
Fear doesn't live in that room. And if fear lives in that room, what you do is you dismiss it because that's your room. Let's say there's something scary in that room. You dismiss it. What would be, something could come in the room and get you, right? So you could put up gates. You could put in an alarm system. You could put in lights. You could put in anything because that's your room. So you protect yourself in your room, and once you're comfortable, do you have a place in your life that you can go that's like your place that nobody's going to bother you?
Yeah, home.
Okay, home is where you go and you're protected there. It's not scary, is it?
No.
You leave the closet door open at night?
Yeah.
No, I close them all.
Right, me too.
I guess my question is, how would you apply it to the non-meditative life? Make everyday meditation essentially. It's like how do you take your room with you?
Well, your room is with you wherever you go. But your room is internal, so usually the more we are relaxed on the inside, the healthier we are on the inside, and the prettier we are on the inside, it manifests and it comes on the outside.
Right.
If you say you're really a beautiful person on the outside, but you're ugly to the bone on the inside, well, eventually that ugliness is going to shine through. I mean, I've seen beautiful models who don't have very nice personalities, and they usually wrinkle up very quickly, you know, as they get older, because they have a poor image of themselves on the inside. So what happens, eventually it comes through. So if you want to eliminate the fear, or you want to eliminate, if you want to stay younger and healthier and beautiful, well, first of all, you've got to be younger and healthy and beautiful on the inside. So as you make yourself healthy and strong and beautiful internally, of course, it's going to manifest on the external. So when we do Qigong and we're doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's no exercise at all. I mean, as far as, you know, aerobic exercise, it's not really an exercise. But we're working with the channels. We're moving the energy from the lower dantian. It moves through. It goes up from here, shoots out the hands, and now we're breathing in, pushing out. So we're starting to work those internal channels. So things are starting to spiral and affect you physically, of course, but it's also affecting your internal meridian flow. It's affecting your chakras. It's affecting your whole energetic field. So as we affect our energetic field by doing the Qigong, or doing a meditation, or doing a visualization, we're starting to affect the internal, our internal self. That's where we really are. You know, did you ever cut your finger? Yeah, so it hurts and you cut your finger, but did it change your personality? No. Did you ever trip and fall and hurt your knee or something? You know, it doesn't change your personality. It's just the physical form.
And it doesn't hurt until you see it.
Sometimes I remember when I was a kid, I'd be playing football or baseball or something. I could rip my leg open, but I'm into the game. I didn't even know I'm hurt. You know, I didn't even know. I'm saying, oh, there's blood all over your pants. You ripped your pants. And I'm going, oh, wow, I didn't even notice it. Oh, my goodness. I'm bleeding. Oh, no.
And then it hurts.
Well, yeah, then it hurts. Yeah, but before that, you know, it didn't hurt at all. I was busy doing something. You know what I mean? I was in the middle
Out of sight, out of mind.
yeah, the middle of playing, you know, I remember I used to live in Michigan. I lived in the winter, right? It was winter. So what do you do in the winter? Well, we lived in the city, so we could go to the park, and at the park they would flood the park so you could ice skate. So I had ice skates, no helmet, you know, no hockey gloves, no mouth guards, but I did have a hockey stick and a pair of skates. So I was at the park playing. I mean, I had a hat on and gloves, right? I played all day. My hands could turn blue. I didn't even notice it. I'm playing the game, right? I'd come home and it's like my hands were discolored. So my mother put them under cold water, because cold water, that's how you thaw. You can't put it in hot water. Well, the cold water felt like burning hot water.
Ow.
Well, because I couldn't feel anything, but you put your hands in cold water until they like get normal, so then you could start to warm them up. But they were like all frozen and blue. I didn't even notice it.
Wow.
You almost had frostbite.
Yeah, it was close to frostbite. I didn't notice it. Why? I was playing hockey. Skating backwards, skating this, turning around. In fact, when I got to Florida, what was funny, somebody invited me to an ice skating party. So I said, oh, ice skating party. So my cousin was in town, so we went to the ice skating party, and all the little kids put in their ice skates. We get our ice skates, and we said, why isn't anybody skating? Well, everybody was brought up in Florida. So I've been skating since I was like that high, you know? I mean, that was just the thing you did.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have, there was no internet, there were no video games, there were only 3 stations or 4 stations on television.